Boom. Right off the get-go, everybody out the gate.
Hey, y'all.
Hi, y'all.
Hey,
How is
everybody.
everybody doing? How's everybody doing?
Very good. Very
Surviving. Doing without most of them.
So, I don't know who all's in chat already. Let's see. Gary Spikes, he who shall not be named, who has been stirring the pot for a while. DD, hey Sharon, Pat, hi Pat, hi Rusty, Miss Fowler, how you doing? And everybody else, Richard Jr., Richard Jr. Hi, how's it going, buddy? Anyway, so what we've got today is a source of constant contention in the Bigfoot world dealing with the woo factor. Now, just right off the get-go, we're going to go ahead and start this thing properly. I don't know if Bigfoot has woo involved or not, and that's what all of these fine people are here to help discuss and everything. So we're going to come to some kind of understanding. What is Sherry doing? What is Sherry doing? Sherry,
I don't know. I was wondering where she went.
Sherry, quit popping off and popping back on. You're either part of the show or you're not.
I was trying to get in the chat. It wouldn't let me in the chat.
You don't be worrying about the chat. We will put questions up if they apply. You quit popping out.
That's what I was trying to do too. How do you get in the chat?
There should be a thing up on the side that says comments, and if you click on that, you can read what everybody's saying.
Yeah,
and,
I got a question right quick. Who? I know Misty's usually in charge of everything because you're about as computer illiterate as I am. But here's the deal. I just tried to tag my aunt in on my phone, and it pops up that stupid information unavailable or cannot be shared or whatever. What's the deal with that?
Why are you asking me? I'm
not asking you. I just brought you up. I'm really directing that toward Misty.
You're asking the wrong one. Spencer's the one that knows the computer stuff.
You have to ask. I bet Noble will know.
Are you doing it on? Are you trying to send it through Facebook or through?
Well,
YouTube?
no, I was on YouTube, and if I go down to where it says share, try to send it on Messenger, it won't go through.
All right, what you want to do is you want to go to share and copy link, hit copy link, and then go to your mother's messenger page and then just paste it on there and it'll go right to her.
Yeah.
Hi, Kevin Ashby.
Good explanation.
Like I told you, I'm computer illiterate. Now, if we was tearing down a Browning shotgun that was 100 years old, I'd be all in.
We may cover something like that on this show because it can't always be Bigfoot all the time. But today, it's not just Bigfoot. It's going to be, is there anything mystical, magical to Bigfoot? So, before I even get started, though, is there anybody in this group, and we got a couple more people coming on here in whatever, 20, 30 minutes, something like that. But does anybody think that boogers are not a physical embodied creature? Does anybody think that they're like completely whatever you would call it, where they're not physical at all?
They're physical. I know they're physical. Without a doubt, they're physical. But now, are they more than physical? Yeah.
So does anybody think that they're physical sometimes, but they can be some other form? I mean, I don't even know how you would phrase it. Chris, talk to me. Tell me something, buddy.
I believe that they are flesh and blood when they're here. And I also believe that they are capable of going somewhere else. They travel between here and there. Wherever there is, I don't know. I have no way to prove where they go. But you come across, like, again, we'll bring up the footprint topic. You'll find 6 great prints in a row in a muddy field where they should keep on going, and then all of a sudden they stop. Well, where did they go? What happened to it? Did he just get beamed up in a spaceship above his head? Did he jump 50 feet into the woods off to his left into a tree. I mean, it's kind of unexplainable. But to me, when they're here, they hunt, they sleep, they do everything that we find evidence of because they leave the evidence. It's here for us to find hairs, all that. That's physical evidence. Now, the other stuff, like cloaking or whatever they call it, or their camouflage or hiding, and I just think there's more to them. There's something more to these guys than we know. They're able to use I believe they're able to use Earth's energies, and they know how to use it. I mean, there's energy in the atmosphere. There's energy in the aquifers. There's energy we're all energy. We are all energy. They have been around for so long. They know how to use that energy to come and go at their will, and that's what I believe.
So you think they can manipulate their energy, how they can control it? Exactly.
But I also believe that there's ET influence also. I believe I believe the ET, the paranormal, and Sasquatch, cryptids, all that. I think it's all linked together some way, somehow. They all can use that other side. They all know how to manipulate the energy because, ghost hunters, they use EMF detectors, magnetic. We're using EMF detectors, and we're getting hits off of Sasquatch, having things thrown at us physically while we're catching stuff on these RF meters. Ghost hunters use them. Now we're using them for cryptids. The UFO, the high energy, it's just all, I believe that it's all linked together. So that's my take on it.
You think it's portals? You think that's how they're traveling?
I've never seen a portal. I don't even know what a portal is, to tell you the truth, but I know what they're doing at CERN, and they're with the collider and all that. They are opening new doorways to different worlds. It's been documented. When you're ramming photons at that high speed and then when they collide, they're saying they're opening these doors. The first round, they had to shut the machine off because the scientists said something opened and creatures came through there that they have never seen before, and they all quit and left. And they shut down the collider. And now they just started it back up. And if you haven't really guessed it or you haven't noticed, time is going a little bit quicker lately. Like if you get up at 11 o'clock and then you do a couple things in the house, you look at the clock today. I got up late today. I don't know. It wasn't 11 o'clock, but all of a sudden I look up at the clock and all of a sudden it's already noon. I'm just like, where did the time go? I think things are moving just a little bit quicker than we can notice. And that's due to the collider again. Just something that I believe. And if you guys want, just take a little peek into that collider in Switzerland and see what you guys all think about that. It's very scary what they're doing with quantum right now. It's very scary what they're opening with the artificial intelligence. That's very, very, very scary. So I think they're learning what these creatures already know, how to use the Earth's energies in different ways.
So let me ask y'all this. Are you saying whenever you're talking about like these energies, possibly portals, all that kind of stuff, that seems like it's going in a different direction than the other group of people that are talking about like these things possibly being Nephilim or demonic? Does anybody think that maybe there is some Nephilim aspect to it? Or anything, that's like godly or demonic to it, as opposed to just an energy manipulation thing?
Spencer, I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't be. I mean, read in the Bible. I mean, read in the Bible what the book says. I mean, it tells us that stuff's real. I believe the rest of the Bible. I mean, I don't know why I would have doubts on that part. Right. I mean, it don't specifically say that Bigfoot is that's what it is, but we know that stuff exists.
I think it's all tied to the portal stuff too. I'm on the same line as Greg, but I think the portal stuff, it all ties in.
So
Yeah, I
you
kinda
think the
agree.
whole thing is connected, Sherry?
I think
You
it's
think
all
the whole
connected.
thing is connected?
Yes, I do.
I do
Okay.
too. I think Chris' side and Sherry's, I think it's all coming as one.
But don't forget, there's giants out there too. There's not just Sasquatch. There's giants, like real live
Yep.
giants walking the earth. We just did a show the other night with Ron Moorhead and MK Davis and Don Monroe. And Ron was talking about a set of tracks that he found in Alaska that were 26 inches and 13-foot gate. 13-foot gate between steps. Now, if that's Sasquatch, that you're talking 20 to 30 foot tall Sasquatch. I mean, these are giants, like in Black Love Caves. They have taken 12-foot giants out of their skeletons. There's skulls that are being taken out. So what's, like Ron was saying the other night, what's the difference between a Sasquatch? I guess Misty wants to take over the show.
Yeah. What is she doing?
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I thought I was posting a comment and I didn't even realize that it didn't click. No, my daughter has been I apologize that I cut you off. My daughter's been using the computer, and when I went to wipe it like this, it just it went in the totally wrong place. Continue. I apologize.
Well, let me comment on something that Chris is talking about the giants, and y'all research into what the stuff that's been found in the United States even. And she's just wanting that spotlight.
I didn't do it.
What is she doing?
I did not do anything. I promise. Look, it's not me.
Look at some of the stuff that supposedly we'll label it supposedly the Smithsonian Institute has the museum and stuff that they've got stored away that's been hidden over the years. Look at the photographs of stuff that has got out of the big giant skeletons. We're talking about stuff over 20 feet tall. These big skeletons been found. And all right, look at the people that have reported finding these big trees that's been broke off, stabbed in the ground upside down, the root balls up in the air. Guys, I've run heavy equipment a lot. I'm talking about bulldozers, track hoes. You show me something physical, blood, meat, bone that can move that tree, that's going to be astounding. But do you have any idea what kind of force it would take to shove a tree into the ground so it would stick up on its own? You can't take the biggest track hoe made and pick a tree up and jab it in the ground. Ain't happening. I don't care who you are or how long you've run one. You couldn't do it in soft sand. I mean, if something is putting these trees upside down where the root ball's up, it's got to be massive.
Right, and they're putting it in like you're putting a straw in a milkshake. I mean, there's just one hole. They're not they're not wiggling it and drilling it. They're just taking it and ramming it.
Exactly. And I mean, I saw a video, and I mean, sure, anything could be hoax, but let's just jump out there and say it's plausible. It's the middle of nowhere. There's no, you couldn't even get a piece of equipment there. So please somebody explain to me how somebody could hoax that. And like I said, if you could get a big giant loader, a big backhoe, track hoe, biggest piece of equipment in the United States that somebody's using in excavating, there's not an excavate operator that could even do that with a big piece of machinery. So how does that happen? Something's doing it.
Yeah. Why would they waste the money and bringing it all the way? It's something up there just to do that and then leave. What would be
exactly?
No, I agree with you 100%. We got to differentiate between the Sasquatch and the giants because the Native Americans called Sasquatch their brothers. They called giants cannibals, man-eaters. They were the ones that were taking the children and the women. That's what was going on. They had two rows of teeth. We showed pictures of a skull the other night that was taken from the basement of Lovelock Museum. That's not for the public. I can't say how it was taken, but it showed 2 rows of teeth, and the estimated height of that giant was 12 feet tall.
Do Do you think the giants can do the whatever the energy thing where they go in and out of portals or whatnot? You think that's why we're not seeing a lot of giants either? I mean, you hear a whole lot more about regular Sasquatch than you do about the giants. I'm just wondering, do you think giants are on that energistic level where they can change their frequency and drop in and out of this plane, this dimension?
100%. They have to, or else we would be able to see them all the time. They're the Nephilim. The giants are the Nephilim. It says in the Bible, the giants, they were giants. It didn't say anything about them. They were a hairy ape looking thing. They were redheaded giants that mated with regular women on Earth. Some of them up to 30 foot tall. I mean, there's records. They're digging them up over across in Saudi Arabia out there. They're digging up graves with these big, huge giants, and they're being kept under lock and key because they don't want it out there. So I just think that we need to start looking into that a little bit more too. There's got to be a difference between the two.
Well, there is, but what you're talking about, and I agree with it, the angels, breeding with the women probably caused the giants, but the angels bred with other things in the world too besides just women. And I think that's where the Sasquatch and the dogmen and all that stuff comes in.
I got a couple friends like that will breed with just anything. I've seen it happen.
Lord have mercy.
I don't think the women have any choice in it, Spencer.
Oh. I don't know. That's the only thing that come to mind when you were saying that. I just oh, don't get bashful now, Mark. So listen. Let me ask you this: everybody has heard about boogers being able to zap someone or use infrasound or whatnot. The possibility of that. If you could be hit with infrasound and it jar your internal organs, scramble your brain, whatever, because some of the stuff that the government uses where they're using frequency weaponry, where they're hitting it off of each other to get a prescribed effect to make someone sick or just not feel good. It kind of affects everybody differently. Why would a booger have the need to do that? I mean, if they wanted you to go away or if they wanted you not to see them, they could just disappear, go into another dimension or whatnot. So first of all, there's that. And also, if you got hit with infrasound, nobody thinks that just jarring your brain is enough to make you go, some people talk about where they saw like a booger disappear right in front of them, right? And then the conclusion is it walked into a portal or something. If your brain gets fried from infrasound for a few seconds, you don't think that would make someone, go in their head, it looked like the booger just disappeared because their brain got scrambled for a few seconds?
But
not everybody all at once.
Causing it?
Huh?
But are they causing it though? On purpose? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I've never
really
seen
don't know on that. There could be something following the Sasquatch too that's causing that. It could be just like on Creepy Mountain. We just don't have Sasquatch there. There's paranormal there with it. And it happens sometimes at the same time. I mean, we've had it go on at the same time with the orbs showing up, catching stuff on audio that was definitely a human voice talking. Just different things all at one time happening. So they could be something that follows with them. I mean, we just don't really know. But you've had it all happen at one time, just like we did down in Opelika, Alabama, at Spring Valley Plantation. We had it all there, Bigfoot, paranormal, all wound up in one spot. And
do you think they're attracted? Are they attracted to like a certain area, the energy of the area or whatever, and then that's why you're getting all of this phenomena all in one location?
It'd be possible down there. There was mounds, Indian mounds at Spring Villa. Now up on the hunting club, we do think there's some mounds up there, and it could be an Indian burial ground or something up there. So, because we found a lot of arrowheads and a lot of stuff up on that mountain. So, I mean, it could be drawn to a particular spot or something,
So, do you think that the Indians buried their deceased in a highly energistic area? Or do you think there's some kind of magical thing that the Native Americans did to the graves and to the mounds, and that's what's drawing it in? What do you think? Are the mounds already in a location that's giving off this type of energy that is attracting everything? Chris, you're shaking your head. Tell me about it.
I think you hit it all right on the nose. These things are attracted to the Earth's energies. If they're able to manipulate it, they are going to go to the areas where there's the highest concentration of it. They're going to seek it out. If paranormal people need to talk with you and they need to get their message through, they draw energy. They draw your batteries. They draw whatever's around. So if these creatures are in the woods, people or whatever you want to call them, are in the woods and they need to use their special abilities and they need the Earth's energies, where are they going to look for? Where are they going to hang out? They're going to hang out where those strongest energies are. Now, the witch doctors and for the Native American tribes, they could sense these Earth's energies, and they used the aquifers underneath the ground at their highest concentrations, and that's where they built those mounds. They used that energy where they felt it coming from the Earth, and they put them in the mounds. Tesla's tower was built over aquifers. Aquifers hold a lot of energy. The pyramids were built over aquifers. Mayan, their whole civilization was built over these aquifers, and they had millions and millions and millions and millions of people living in the middle of nowhere. I think these aquifers and the Earth's energies those aquifers, I think, are very, very important. Look at David Paulides. Just came out with his missing 411, the ET files, and in the middle of there, all of a sudden he talks about these huge aquifers out in the Midwest that he believes saucers are coming in and out of into the Earth's energies. I mean, it just makes total sense if you're able. Now, this is just my opinion. I can't tell you guys 100% this is for sure. This is just my opinion. If you're going to harvest the Earth's energies, you are going to seek out those areas because you're going to feel comfortable there because you know you can use it. And on the infrasound side of it all, I'm iffy on that subject about the infrasound, because if there's a group of 5 people and someone says, oh, I got zapped and I didn't feel good, 1 out of the 5 people there, if they're hitting you with infrasound, they're not using a laser beam. They can't point it at you. They can't, look at you and, line it up in a scope and say, I'm just going to hit that guy in the middle with the infrasound. If they're going to shout it or whatever they do, it's going to hit everybody, in my opinion.
Let me ask Chris something. Chris, what is your thoughts on certain people they're more prone to be able to pick up on that stuff and more susceptible to people they're more in tune, whether they know it or not, they're more in tune to what's going on.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think they pick you. I think you're tagged. I think they come to you a certain point in your life and they tag you. And if you're I call them the lucky ones, because wherever you go, you're more than likely going to have an interaction with either paranormal or any of an alien or a Sasquatch or any of the cryptids. I think there's a certain energy that you're projecting. There's a aura around you that they can tell, they can see, and they tag you. And I just believe that you're more susceptible to all this, like the witch doctors and the medicine men, not the witch. Why am I calling witch doctors? Medicine men. They were picked for a reason. They could feel these energies. They were very wise. I mean, the medicines they made way back when these guys knew how to harvest from the earth should be brought back because they were using sound energy and vibrational energy and all this to help cure. And it's a really amazing if you dive back into it. But yes, I agree. I think that you're marked. And again, it's just my opinion. I'm just a grandfather that collects baseball cards. I really I'm like, the top of the crop. You know what I mean? So
this is kind of the area that I wanted to go to, though. You both just touched on this. So here we go. Here we go. Are you drawn to them, or are they drawn to you? Or is there something sensitive about you that you can feel them, communicate with them, and they pick you out because you are sensitive? Or are you sensitive and you're being drawn to them? Are they coming to you, or are you going to them?
I think it's partly both. I've always said, I mean, this is my opinion. Once that they are on your radar, then you're on their radar.
I think you're right, Sherry. That makes more sense to me.
I agree too.
So you don't think there are people? I mean, there are people that claim to be psychic. There are people that claim all kinds of stuff. If it's possible that those people are, whatever, something about their mojo is different than the average person, to where they're more in tune, that they've got a different energy flow, different ions in them, whatever.
They're open to it.
Okay. Are you saying that it's your opinion that those people are sensitive enough to pick up on the boogers and are kind of trying to find them, and that the boogers know that, hey, that's one of the people that knows me or can feel me, can sense me, and then the boogers are drawn to them? So it's happening both ways. They're both coming together.
I think so.
I'd say it's plausible.
It's all vibration. It's all vibration. It's your vibration. What your body gives out, as you're all magnetic. If you've got a higher vibration than everybody else, and they're receiving that higher vibration, like if they're generating that same vibration, then you're going to be able to pick up on that. You can pick up on a good person when you first talk to them. If you generally can, because that's the vibration that they're giving off. You can tell by just talking to them what kind of person they really are. But some people are deceiving and are good at tricking people with their vibration, lowering it and upping. But just say this: say you and your buddy always go to this one spot, and you always have activity. You always have Sasquatch activity, right? And you always you document and everything. And then all of a sudden, you got a guy who says, "Oh well, I don't whatever." And all of a sudden you invite him up to that spot. Now the three of you go up to that spot and nothing happens. You know why nothing happens? Is because this other guy is already doubting. He's not on the same vibration, and they'll never get any closer. They might get like a wood knock 2 miles away, or they'll get stone throws or vocals, but they'll never come in close. And I can guarantee that because I've seen it.
Yeah.
It depends on the person.
At the same time, though, I mean, you've got people that don't even believe in Bigfoot. The people that have been hunting their whole life, and they're going to the same parcel of land, and then one of the damn things walks out in front of them and completely changes their view on the world after that. Eric, get in here. Tell me something. Are people selectively, or not selectively, are certain people more sensitive and being drawn to this and able to see them? Are boogers, their own thing? What do you think? What's with the energy thing in your opinion?
I don't know. I think yes. I think some people have a higher scent to them when it comes to energy and feeling energy and giving off energy. I believe that being out in all the years that I've been in the mountains and everything else doing this, there's an energy that's given back when you're allowing it to be released from you in a positive manner. I believe that I feel it come back to me while I'm out there. I've had very strong energies come to me, not understanding, fully comprehending what they were at that particular time. But now that I've opened up my mind to this and I've really dove into this side of this realm, if we're gonna talk about these two coming together in this realm of Bigfoot, and we're gonna talk about this possibly coming over to here, that's where I've started opening up my mind. I've started doing more research to that, and now I see and I understand those energies that I felt those times out were being released from something. Something was releasing it. I would like, in my mind, I would like to contribute it to the subject at hand because that's what I'm out researching. Can I say 100% that's what was giving it back to me? I don't know. But if I take everything that's happened throughout the course of that day or the course of that week of me being out researching and all the stuff that's happened that I do put in the box of Bigfoot, it's a very strong case to say that it was giving me this energy back. I do believe that there are certain individuals that do carry this, and their senses are more heightened than others out there. It's being able to control them when we're in that moment and understanding what is trying to be relayed back to us within that energy, and being able to work with it and use it to our advantage in our research in hopes that it's a form of communication with whatever it is that's giving it back to us. I do believe with Chris, what Chris was saying, that if you walk out with just a general, not going to happen, this isn't it, just a really low line of just denial and everything else, that you're not going to be received by any type of energy back to you. So I do agree with that 100%. I don't, but I'm still in the beginning. We're trying to build a foundation here of trying to see if these two realms are together or one and the same. So we're really just now starting to openly talk about these things. So yeah. We're at the foundation. We're trying to build this foundation, and this right here is how it starts. This conversation right here. But you're on the right track, Spencer, of asking these questions. What is it? What do you believe it is? All these things. So my takeaway is, yes, I believe that my senses out there, why I'm researching out in the field, are much stronger than certain individuals. And what has taken place and given back to me, I feel, is part of this. I can't say 100% it was Bigfoot. But like I said, if I put everything in to what has taken place each time, that whole day, I would like to believe that it's part of it.
So let me ask all of y'all something. I spent a lot of time in the woods way before I was ever into the Bigfoot thing. And there were some notable things that happened. And looking back on it now, if boogers had been on my radar, if I had known anything about them, I might have, thought possibly that was something being done by Bigfoot. I might have looked into it. Maybe I'd have found, like, whatever, the granddaddy of it all, tracks and structures, all that kind of stuff. But I was oblivious to it, right? So then I became aware of the Bigfoot subject, started looking into it. I found stuff on my own just by being aware and going, oh, this is what everybody is talking about on certain things. Is everybody of the mindset, if someone's completely oblivious to the subject, a wood knock is, they just write it off as, whatever, a branch fell and hit another tree in the woods or something like that, right? But if Bigfoot is on your radar, then you're more prone to be like, hey, that might have been a wood knock, right? Are we saying that if we take it to the next level, which is change your perspective on what these things are, to where there is this energy side to it, not saying that they're completely spiritual or anything, but being able to open up your mind to the next level and saying, hey, there is something going on here that is probably not just flesh and blood, or not of this plane, not of this world. When you open up your perspective, are you all in agreement that kind of takes it up a notch to where you're starting to put your feelers out or whatever, and maybe you become more sensitive to feeling them, and then maybe they are able to pick up on you and say, hey, that's somebody, that's my kind of person, so then they're drawn to you? Is that what you're saying? You have to be open-minded?
That's right. This is just my old redneck take on it. Kind of like what you're talking about out in the woods and this and that. It's just like people that's never deer hunted. You may go to the woods, you may go to a park, you may glance up and see a deer. Or if you take somebody that's an avid hunter and they're pursuing that, and you're looking for it, you're going to see those deer. Those deer are going because you're looking for them. That's one side of the razor. I also believe that with these things, this is my belief, with these things that if you get on a level to where you're like a sense that basically us as humans, as we've evolved and we didn't have to really pay attention to our other sense of things that we just pick up on. Like, you can be sitting somewhere and you just have the feeling come over you that somebody's looking at you. You look around the restaurant and you find that person that's looking at you. And I mean, you feel that before you ever know it. You ever notice this too? A lot of times, anybody that picks up on that, a lot of times you get the feeling. Now, I mean, y'all go down this rabbit hole with me. The people that do have that occur, that you have the feeling wash over you that somebody's looking at you. You ever notice that a lot of times, and like I use the phrase, you look around. I kind of false use that phrase because the people that have that feeling on a regular basis, y'all be honest with me. When you have that feeling wash over you, when you look up, I'll bet you what, 90% of the time, you're going to look up and you're going to look straight at that person looking at you. You're going to know from what direction they're in. You're not going to have to search the whole room trying to find that person. When you realize that somebody's looking at you, you're going to find them like that. You're going to look straight, whether it's right, whether it's left. 90% of the time, you're going to look straight at that person that's looking at you.
Yep. Just like the deer. I mean, you'll be sitting there in the stand half a day, not seeing anything, and all of a sudden, you just look, and you're looking right at one. And you didn't hear it, but you just looked right at it.
I'm going to throw y'all a little further down my rabbit hole. Now, I mean, look, guys, I've hunted since I was a little bitty kid. And the further down this rabbit hole of feeling stuff that something was looking at me and, or somebody's looking at me, and I would know it's coming from here, and that I'll look over there. When I have deer in the field, if I have deer and they're oblivious to me being there, instead of just staring straight at them, I'll watch them, but I'll look away. And then I'll look back, and then I'll look back over here. I won't focus straight on those deer because I've had deer be 250 yards from me, and you be staring at them, and here in a minute, they'll whoop around and they'll zone right where you're at. They may not pick you straight out, but they ain't no way they've heard you. They ain't no way you've done nothing. But those deer will look straight at you and just be focused. How did they know you were there? How in the world? They should be oblivious. Wind's in your favor, everything. But they'll whoop around. How in the world? It's like they feel you. To me, it's like they feel me looking at them. So I actually, honest to God, I changed my tactics hunting because instead of me just being totally focused for a long period of time, if there's deer that I'm looking at, whether I'm gonna kill them, I'm not gonna kill them, I don't just sit there and just hone in on them. I'll watch them and I'll look away, and then I break my concentration on them and go back. I can't tell you that it's helped a lot, but that's what I do.
I've had that happen where it feels like almost like you're giving off that kill vibe too strong, like, hey, I'm getting ready to end you, and it's so forceful that they look right up at you. I've had that happen. I thought the same thing too, where it's like, whoa, need to tone it down. Like you become a super transmitter of your intention, and they feel it.
They also, the boogers, you'll notice a lot of times they only look at you with one eye. If y'all have ever really watched that, you don't always see two eyes. You only see one, and it'll turn and look the other way a lot. Once you figure out one standing there somewhere around a tree, you only see one eye, and that eye will move a lot. It won't always just be right at you. It'll look off. You'll see it look off and then come back. I mean, I don't know how many times me and Keith Tyler seen that up on Creepy Mountain when they were up there close to us. Just one eye looking at you. It's like they're hiding the other one, for a reason. I think they're doing it for a reason. Why? I think it's where you don't notice them as much. That way you don't get that I'm being watched feeling as much.
Rusty made a comment early on in the show that I was going to try to bring up about it being all of it being prophecy. And, we were talking about the gate and all that stuff. And I really think, it's just like me. I've talked to when we did those interviews, like when we first started this group, and I had everybody get on and tell, first thing they would say, well, she talked to me about it. I was talking about this for about 10 years before we started this group with everybody. And I think I was supposed to tell everybody. I know we're getting back in the woo factor, but it's all biblical prophecy to me. It really is. I talked to them all about it. I think I was supposed to prepare them for what's to come. I really do.
I think that we have to stop inferring a negative connotation to the word woo. I think that everybody has to be more, no matter which side of the coin you're on, everybody has to be more open. I think if you've done this for enough time, I think you start to have thoughts on your own. Maybe you don't voice them, but if you're actually out there in the woods looking for these things, I think you start to get a sense of there's a whole lot of weird shit that happens when you're out there looking for them. The first time I saw batteries drain, I was like, wow, that was really weird. The second time, I was like, wow, that was really weird. The third time, I was like, okay, something's going on here. And again, I'm probably a little bit more on the flesh and blood side than most people are. But, you got to admit, there's this weirdness that is incumbent with the subject, that goes hand in hand with the subject. We have to cross and bring, I think, our generation of Bigfooting, where it's at now, I think we really need to cross that Rubicon and bring the people from the woo side in with us. Let's us be a little bit more relaxed on what we consider, paranormal. We have to stop using woo as like a negative term in the Bigfoot field, because we can all learn from each other different aspects. Nobody's saying you have to fall 100% into one camp or the other. At least that's my opinion of it.
Spencer, I think one of the big problems, just as us being human, that for us to understand things, we want it all in a neat little box with a bow on top.
Right.
We don't, you know what I'm saying? We get out of our comfort zone, and it really throws turmoil into our lives, and there's nobody really thrives on turmoil except maybe Misty giving it to you. But but seriously, guys, just as humans, everybody wants everything in a nice, neat little package. We don't want nothing disrupting what we supposedly know I mean, and that's what blows people's minds. People are closed-minded. They want to be, well, this is what I believe, so I got to be right. No, I'll sit down with anybody and we'll talk over whatever somebody wants to. And there again, some of y'all that's been in our private talks, we're bouncing. It's just like bouncing the basketball. It's just like all of us in a circle. I'm going to hit the ground with it and you're going to catch it. You're going to hit the ground with it and Chris is going to catch it. Chris is going to bounce it back to me. I'm going to throw it to Sherry. Y'all's bouncing ideas back and forth and discussing it. And doing what we're doing here is going to make more advancement, more understanding than anything that people, I'm in this group and we're fighting butting heads. No, there's no need in that. And that's what I see, and it upsets me so bad about the community, is everybody wants to be the person that knows the most. Guys, look, just like I've told everybody, and I'll repeat this again, every time you think that you've got an answer, that answer creates 10 more questions.
Yeah, I agree with that. The only thing that I would go a little farther with is we also need to get out there and figure it out.
I agree.
Versus just opinion speculation. At some point, we got to get out there and we have to figure out how to do the research. We need to know where to start with it. We can't just opinionate, speculate, because then that turns into false facts. And then you have a social media realm of speaking false facts of, oh, this is what they do. And they don't have a claim whatsoever. So, and I talked about this on one of my past videos that, yes, we need to opinionate. We need to have these groups. We need to be able to discuss these things to get those things firing off in our heads and these ideas and these thoughts. And to Spencer's point earlier, to be closed-minded in this, if you're out there researching like we all are, and we're out there trying to find true answers to what this truly is, you have no choice but to evolve. You're going to automatically start evolving with your thought process. Your thought process, my thought process went from many years ago of being a North American great ape to sharing DNA with us somewhere to now this realm of energy and God knows where it's going to take me. Those were my 3 steps in evolving in the years that I've done this. Yeah. So yeah, to your point, Greg, that, we need these groups. We need these sound-minded groups though, right here, and talk, and then try to figure out how we put it out there in the field and how we put it to the test. Yeah. Because without that, we all know what happens because we see it in the Bigfoot realm on social media now. So many people speak facts, and a large percentage of it is not facts. It's just, it's the evil of the creature, of the social media creature. So eventually we need to start trying to put it out in the field and figuring out ways to do the research with this and get answers.
We're not going to get anywhere if we don't listen to each other.
Yeah.
You don't have to believe that way. You don't have to believe what I say, but listen to each other and take it with a grain of salt and go from there.
Mm-hmm.
We all learn from each other.
Word, anyways. Yeah. The supernatural part of all this, and that's what we like to use, the supernatural part of it, has been around a lot longer than the scientific part of it. The woo was created for people not to think about it, to make them think that the people that we're talking about were crazy. Listen to us, look at the footprints, listen to the knocking on the trees, find the hairs, do the DNA. There's nothing else to these things. The Native Americans were talking about their special abilities hundreds of years before we even started finding, here they started scientific, cryptozoology and all that. So it's been around a lot longer. So it was just a word that was created to deter regular people from thinking that they had something else, something special to them. In my opinion.
I think part of, and I said this once again, I said this in one of my past videos. I think where we lack and where we are making part of the mistake is we're trying to start in chapter 25 of 50 chapters. And we jumped in at chapter 25 and we're trying to move forward without knowing anything back here.
I agree.
We need to go back to the beginning. We need to crack the book of Enoch. We need to crack things open, and we need to start way back when and start reading before we even think about jumping forward.
Eric, I think you're on to something. I think that information's there. It's just we hadn't connected those dots.
Well,
Yeah.
it's taken away from us.
Yeah, it
did
was
they
taken.
take those books out of the Bible. They were
Yeah.
in the Bible and they took them out. Why did that happen?
They stripped it from us.
Yeah.
And now we're fighting to get that information. We need that information, and it's being withheld from us for whatever reason. We could go down that. That's a whole nother door out of Pandora's box right there.
Look here, y'all. There's my friend Mark Noble.
What's up, woo witches? What are y'all doing?
Waiting on you.
Man, it's great to see all of my friends here. And I guess I can talk smack about Spencer since Misty put him backstage.
Mark, can you turn your mic up just a little bit?
Is that a little better?
Yeah.
Okay. I have just about agreed with everybody's opinions that have been talking. It's amazing to me. You know, I think back about what Eric said, talking about how and this is the way I was strictly flesh and blood. And then I met Larry, and he had a different opinion. But the thing of, even though that I had just met Larry, I respected his opinion. And the thing with me is I have seen and experienced things out in the woods since I have gotten more dirt time out in the woods. And so it's important that, it's only human nature that when something happens to you, that you form an opinion. And I believe where we can deceive ourselves is when we set that opinion into concrete without giving an honest effort into debunking our own theories. And we need to measure this evidence with everything that our constraints will allow. And it's important that we all have our own boxes. So whatever your thoughts or opinions are, that you just don't try to put it in that box and twist and turn it into your own beliefs. I know when I was in the workforce, I did chemistry, and you have to go by facts. You have to go by scientific facts, and to be able to prove, what you're looking at. I think these discussions are good. We need to hold these discussions. I was doing a video chat with Greg last week, and I was thinking, and I said something to Greg. I said, maybe we should get together once every couple of weeks and just talk about things, just bounce things around, because everybody that is on here tonight, I've got complete respect for. We're not going to have 100% agreement on everything, but if you've got respect and you're honest with yourself, when you look in the mirror, that you want to listen to a different viewpoint, that it might help you to realize something that you didn't want to put in the box. I always wanted to see orbs. Every time I'd gone out in the woods, I wanted to see orbs. And I think about when we were filming the 168, I had marked a place on the GPS to check out. And we went into that area and we saw orbs every night that we went in there. Now, when the first night that we were in there, we were sitting there filming and these orbs, and Barry Browning said to me, he goes, look up in the sky. Do you see anything that's strange? And I saw a light above us. It looked like it might have been 500 feet above us, and it was flashing red and green, and it wasn't moving. And we sit there and we just watched it. We had a lot going on. We had movement going around us. Me and Barry were the only ones that were experienced being in there. So I had to keep Bradley and Stevie sitting there watching our backs. We did not want to get, distracted by what we were watching. And then we were watching what was up in the sky. And then we started talking about it, me and Barry. And he told me, now this gave me what Kumbo would say, chili bumps, because he said, what if that one up there in the sky is telling these others in the woods what to do? And when he said that, man, it was just like it washed over me, just with, oh my, what in the world is going on? We're a half a mile away from the vehicles. And about the time we were really paying more attention to that, and Barry said that, this thing started moving. And it started moving across the sky. And then the orbs were just kind of going crazy out in the woods. But if you've got your opinion or theory set in concrete, then you're going to explain that off in some other way. And I think these conversations are really good, that we can sit down with people that are looking to search for evidence of what it could be.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. We all need to start working together. We're going to start working with ufologists this year and paranormal people at the same time. We're all going to enter the woods at the same time, and we're going to start putting their ways and our ways and together and try and come up and see if this stuff is all linked together. Because I think they all use the same energies, like Mark was saying. There's something controlling everything from above. It could very well be. Who knows? We don't know. But the strange just keeps getting stranger. I personally have mental telepathy going on at night when I meditate. I have received 3 names. I have seen 3 faces. And the following day in my backyard have been left gifts every day afterwards, reassuring me that they knew what we were talking about, what they were talking about. One night I got a name, and it was Natari, and I see her face. I know it was a female Sasquatch, and I was asking, I had a helicopter over my house. It's a long story, and I was asking them in my meditation if they were still out back. And just somebody said to try it, so I tried it, and this name Natari came to me in the face. The next day, Maria says, look what's out on the back lawn. So I get out, I look out the kitchen window, and there's a Tupperware container and a stuffed monkey that's got Velcro hands on it. Now, I traded with these guys for 6 years at this spot. I used a Tupperware container to put the treats in underground and put rocks on top of them. And I took that monkey that was like in the backyard and strapped it around a tree. The same exact 2 things. I'm asking if they were still out in the backwoods. Now, nobody else in this world, except for Larry, my partner, would know what we were doing up there. And nobody in the world would know that what I had happened to me that night to leave that there the next day. 2 weeks later, I got another one, little furry dude, 4 foot tall, black haired guy, black furred all over him, jumps up on my chest and he goes, Archibald, like that. And I wake up out of the meditation or whatever you want to call it. And I'm like, whoa, what was that all about? And then Maria had told me that the birds and the squirrels haven't been coming to her feeders for the last 2 days. No, I said, well, there must be like an eagle or something around. I never put one and one together. But when the squirrels and the birds returned, the stuffed monkey that they had left previously was now gone and taken that night before the return of all the animals. So was he telling me that they were back out in the woods? I don't know. But the two being combined and hearing the voices, and I've had a coyote leg left at my back door, ripped off the dog, fresh with blood, just left at my back door, and the mental telepathy or whatever you guys want to call it, mind speaking. That's a whole different plane, and that's just if that happened to someone, you just wouldn't think that that's normal. But I've reached out to a lot of people, and they say it's an ascension or something like that to a higher vibrational level or something that they picked up on. And I don't know. That's about all I know about it. But it's just very, very strange, and that doesn't happen to a lot of people. But if I don't tell people the truth and tell you this is what's happening, then nobody will be able, I mean, somebody might be able to take that and go with it, and maybe it happens to them, and they're saying, well, maybe, this is the Sasquatch that are doing it, or maybe it's aliens are doing it, or maybe it's just your mind that's doing it. Just, you have to share all the info you can, and it's just really, really strange things that go on out there. So
I believe it's real. I know Missy and I experienced a little bit of LBL, but I'm not going there. I don't want them in my head. I think when you do that, you're opening up your soul also, and I'm just not going to go there. I'm not saying anything bad about it. I'm just saying, for me, it's not where I want to go, because I don't want them in my head. I worry about the evil side of it.
Right.
Yeah. If they're in your head, you're taking them home.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to have our house blessed because the little ones were seeing monsters in our home. We had a hitchhiker come, and it actually I didn't know anything about this stuff, and they came in and they blessed the whole house, and they said it was a Native American. We went across somewhere where we weren't supposed to be. It wasn't on purpose. We didn't dig up anything. We didn't take anything. We just walked across this area, and it came home with us, and my grandchildren live with us, and they were pointing to all the corners of the house, going, there's monsters there, there's monsters there, there's monsters there. So we had the house blessed, and ever since then, there has been no more monster talk or anything like that. So this stuff is 100% real. I got EVPs that we're capturing every time out now that we are looking for the Sasquatch in the woods, and we're hearing them live. We're hearing the voices out loud. It's not just like EVPs. We're actually hearing the voices. So, and it's pretty strange. The whole group's hearing them. So,
can I ask everybody a question? I mean, since we're here in a group, I had weird things happen to me as a child. I know Misty did too. Did you all have weird things, see things, and have weird things as you were growing up too?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, did you?
Yes.
Not really.
But the rest of us have.
That I can remember.
I've had very dark entities, very dark. But it was also my upbringing, where we were at, my family name. I've talked about this in the past, and what my family has carried through the generations, and then my upbringing with the ones that birthed me and raised me, and the darkness there, and the dark entities that have traveled with me. So yeah.
I had something happen to me when I was young, and it didn't come back to me until I had my first Sasquatch encounter. That same exact feeling when I was helping my father's boss clear wood off his trails, because he had like a little tractor he got wood off of when I was like 10. And I remember him leaving me out there one time, and I remember the whole forest just closed in into this little circle, and I just felt uneasy, and I forgot totally all about it. And then when I had my first Sasquatch encounter, I had that same exact feeling in my chest again. So Was there a Sasquatch there that day? I don't know, but the stuff it seems to repeat when it comes back, and it grows stronger. Like Eric, his is growing stronger and stronger, and it's pretty wild stuff. And we have to learn how to try and use it. That's what we've been researching it. And my friend Chris Connor from the Trail to Bigfoot, he's experienced a lot of this stuff too, and we've come up with a lot of experiments we're going to try with vibrational stuff this year and bringing certain things out into the field. And maybe we'll get some results.
Well, they've once I seen my first one in 2007, but they had a lot of stuff going on before 2007. Just didn't realize what was really going on. But the hitchhiker effect, they've come to every place I've lived. I lived on the south side of the hunting club. Then I moved up the road. This was all after a divorce. They started showing up there. I moved 2 miles further, showed up there. Of course, I'm on the east side of the hunting club now, about 2.5 miles, and they show up here, which I mean, that's not far for them to go. But they've showed up at every place I have moved to. And even showed up at my mother's house and some other places that I frequent regular. And how I knew they showed up there was finding footprints, finding other things that just, didn't make sense. And so they do have a hitchhiker effect.
Chris, have you ever been hit by lightning?
Not that I know of. No, I don't think so.
Okay. It's I don't know. Greg, Eric, I can't get this out of my head. With all of us that have had been hit by lightning or lightning hit something around us. I was in a coma about 10 years ago. I have forgotten a lot of things, and then things will come back to me. And it took about a week and a half, and there's a bunch of us that have been hit by lightning or lightning run through something and hit us. And it dawned on me that I was in a vehicle and lightning hit the hood of the vehicle as we were driving. And just to experience lightning so close like that and seeing it, it was blinding. And the buddy I was with, if there's light, if he hears thunder, he heads inside. It had, to this day, it had that kind of effect on him. And I just think about all of us that know each other that have been hit by lightning, or lightning hit something and run through and strike you. I'm not much of a one that believes in coincidence. Maybe 2 times or something like that. But you take a group of us, 6 or 7, that have experienced lightning like that. I mean, how many people do you know that have been hit by lightning? And what are the odds? I don't even know what the odds are of being hit by lightning is. But then all of a sudden, all these people have come together. And then there's so much that we should look at and try to learn from, and don't close it off.
Oh, I agree that it's like a 1 in 2 million shot of being hit by lightning. Then you meet 6 others in this community, right? It's the Sasquatch community, right, Mark? That you met them, and you all been hit by lightning. That's just crazy in itself.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Mark, Greg, Kumbo, Eric, Jimmy Osmer, Corntassel. There's
Troy Allen,
and
then my buddy Alan.
And then Alan. All these people been hit by lightning. What are the odds?
Must be all them chitlins you guys are eating.
Yeah, maybe.
Lightning must be attracted to chitlins, right?
But we're talking about, Chris. We're talking about guys over that live. I mean, yeah, there's a few of them that's here close where I live, but we're talking about from Georgia to Mississippi, Tennessee, South Alabama. I mean, we're not talking about guys that right here in one wide, but it's guys that we've all come together through this, and then it got brought up in just a fluke conversation. I brought it up because we were out one night. It was me, Gerald Corntassel, Troy Allen, Coonbo. They were all, those three guys was in Coonbo's truck. And I walked up to the door. I said, let me run. We were here local, close to my house. I said, I need to run home and do a couple of things. And I looked around and lightning was just streaking through the sky. I said, we're not going to be able to get out and Bigfoot any right now anyway, because I told him, I said, look, guys, I get a little dubious when this lightning starts flashing. I said, I done been hit twice. And I said, let me run to the house. I'll be right back. We were only like 2 miles from my house. And I said, I'll be back and we'll go wherever y'all want to go. And when I said that, it's like Coonbo was looking at me and I was talking to him. Well, Troy and Cheryl was in the back seat of his truck. And both of them just like looked at me and they're like looked at me and then they looked at each other and then looked back at me and nothing was said. Well, then a couple of days after that, Troy told me, he said, you said something kind of blew her mind. And I was like, what are you talking about? He said, when you said you were hit by lightning, I said, yeah, I've been hit twice. And I said, that shit hurts. He said, oh, I know. He said, all three of us has been hit too. I went, what? He said, yeah, we've all been hit too. And then he goes to tell me how Troy took a direct hit. I had to hit a power pole beside me. I was within about 2.5 feet of the power pole. It ran through the ground and lit me up and knocked me unconscious. And then when I came back to, I was blind for about 10, 15 minutes. Then my vision came back. And then, gosh, fast forward probably 30 years, I was hit again. I was under a house and lightning hit a tree in the yard. It ran through the ground, came through, and I was pushing some duct work up for a guy to put a screw in the strap. Well, I was laying on the dirt. He was on the plastic, so it insulated him. But it came through my side and through my elbow, and it blew fire off my fingers. I mean, it wasn't just like zap. It was like whoop, 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 boom, and it blew fire off my fingers. And I had pretty much a full-blown seizure. I drew up and contracted and started shaking. And, man, the next day I had bruising all over, like severe bruising came through, like my biceps, the backs of my legs. I had bruises came up. But then Corntassel, I can't remember. It seemed like it may have hit something that he was standing by or whatever, but it lit him up. Osmer was the same way. It hit a fence and ran through the ground, got him. My buddy Allen, he was standing on an old-timey like floor furnace, the metal grating. It ran through and lit him up, knocked him unconscious. But honestly, I mean, even though it wasn't all direct strikes, how many people do you meet in life that's been hit by lightning or knocked out by lightning? And I don't know, Mark, what was your – Mark Green, how did you get hit?
Well, out in the pasture, big oak tree. We've been baling hay. There wasn't a cloud in the sky, and we were sitting there eating lunch, and all of a sudden, wham! I mean, it hit that oak tree, and it didn't. And I happened to be sitting on the tractor when it happened, but I still felt the tingle come up me. Now, my buddy was standing on the ground. It knocked him off his feet.
Yeah.
Now, he got right back up, and he was, doing this, and we quit for the day. We left everything there and left, But if I'd been standing on the ground, it'd probably done me the same way. But we found out later that lightning strike was 10 miles away.
Oh, wow.
It come from 10 miles. It hit one tree out in the middle of a big hayfield.
I just saw where Bama Murdoch chimed in where he got hit. I remember him telling me that story last year and have forgotten all about it. So there's another one.
That's crazy. This is my first time meeting people that have gotten hit by lightning. So I'm 50 years old.
You're next.
I don't want to be next. I don't want to be. I don't think I could take any more.
Well, it's about as much fun as you can figure it would be.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it would be. It's like licking an electric outlet or something like that.
Well, getting shocked at work don't help matters either.
Hey Spencer, if you want to come back on and ask some questions to everybody, you can take me off and
6'8", pop me off.
You take me off too, whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
Whoever you want to replace for a minute.
Oh, that's
If it's him or Misty.
That he popped up. What about?
I didn't know if y'all could hear me or not. Chris, hang on there. We're getting, we're pushing an hour and a half now, and I've already been talking to a couple other people that we should have on here to continue this conversation, because this is a subject where, in my opinion, which is the only one that fucking matters because it's my show, but in my opinion, we got to have like a round 2 or 3 of this. We've got to further the conversation, is all I'm saying. So we'll probably go ahead and start wrapping it up here, and I'll let everybody say goodbye and everything. The lightning thing is really damn bizarre. I've thought that since Greg told me about it. There's just, again, that's one of those things like what I was saying earlier. There's way too many weird factors that happen dealing with this subject. But anyway, so we've got to carry the conversation on at a later point and everything. If y'all got anything that you want to close out on, I mean, obviously tell everybody goodbye and whatnot. And then me and Misty will hop back on and like wrap up the show at the very end. And for all of y'all, please hang on backstage while we wrap up the show in case anybody wants to talk or anything, or I want to say goodbye to y'all. But anyway, if you got anything else to add, now's the time. And I thought this was really good. I think everybody in the chat did so far too. But y'all go ahead and wrap everything up and say goodbye to everybody. And whenever you're done, I'll put you backstage and we'll end the show, people.
Well, I just want to thank you for inviting me. And I think these are great conversations. And I think that we should dabble more in these conversations, because we'll find out. I saw where Spencer put up near-death experiences. I've had one. I've gone into the light, and I know others that I have talked to that have too. And so I think these are great. I think if there's people that are out there, such as Bama, I think he would be great to pull on here and on round 2 of these kind of discussions. And Eric, I can't wait to see you in 2 weeks, brother.
Buddy, I'm so looking forward to it, brother. I am so ready. I miss you guys so much. So
Hey, Eric, as far as I know, I'm coming.
right on. Right on. Yes,
All right.
sir.
You can take me off, Spencer.
Yeah, I think to echo what he just said, this definitely is the first step, and we need to continue this. We need to bring this out, and we need to start talking about it, and we need to start speaking about it as to Chris's point earlier. This has been discussed for many moons prior to right now. In early culture and native, and so, but we have the technology to get it out there quick. Yeah. We can talk about this on a global platform, I just can't emphasize enough that we need to do it properly. It needs to be done properly.
I think a lot of things that a lot of the ideas probably would be better off, like we talked about, amongst like our private chats. Maybe we can stick some stuff together that is presentable to John Q. Public.
Yep.
Hey, Eric.
Yes, sir.
I was just going to say, are you worried that if we fuck it up right off the get go, that it will make everything already kind of be tarnished before we put it out there? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. And a mockery made of it.
Right.
You know, we have such a hard enough time trying to get the science world to understand or even take a look at the research that Kane and I have, the documentation that Kane and I have. He and I can walk into any college, any university right now with a book like this and go, bam, here it is, dispute it, look at it, tell us what give us a layout of what you think this is. This is years and years and years and years of documentation all over the United States. Not in just one patch of woods in Ohio. Right. We are all over the United States with this, and our findings are the same everywhere. And here's 12 years of it. Run with it. And still, we because of what this has been turned into, we will never be, our documentation, our data will never be looked at on a scientific level because of what has taken place.
Yeah, there are certain people out there that are just killing any hope of scientific. The woo, number one, we got to come up with a different word. Woo, woo's got to for what we're doing. It's just a woo is a made up like Ric Flair. Woo, that's what it's. It's a mockery. We need to come up with a better term. I call it supernatural. I don't know what anybody else wants to call it, but I agree with Eric. Like they said, you guys got stacks of no one's got stacks of documentation, but the ones that are out there that are making a mockery are the ones that are trying to make the money off of a YouTube channel, and they're trying. It's a shame because this stuff can be tested. If you have the right equipment, we can test radio frequency. We can test electromagnetic fields. We can put probes in the ground. There's so much that can be done. I agree with Eric 100%. We need to start at the beginning. We need to take the right steps, and we got to do it right. So I agree with you all on that.
So thank you very much. Peace.
See you guys.
I just want to say thank you for including me in this. I love this stuff, being able to talk to everybody and discuss things about this. And I just want to say thank you for including me. You can take me out. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I appreciate the invite, and I've really enjoyed it. And I think we all need to start off at a baseline and build ourselves up. And one thing I always tell everybody, get along, love one another, and quit fussing over stuff we don't know nothing about, and try to get in the main direction.
That's right.
Well, that's the thing. Ain't nobody an expert.
That's it. It's all theory right now, but we can make them theories come to life, and make them, improve them later down the road,
And talking about it, stuff when it comes out for the first time can be hard to talk about. I know I've been there. I've got some stories that people would think I was absolutely ridiculous if I just came on here and told. Yeah, but I know they happened to me. And just like the lightning thing, how many other people has that happened to that just don't talk about it? They're scared to talk about it because nobody has talked about it. Nobody that I've ever heard talk about.
We don't scratch the surface on much of anything, really. We're just scratching the surface.
That's what we need to do, though. In my opinion, we need to scratch the surface deeper. We're at a point now where everybody in the Bigfoot field has been doing the same thing for 50 years now. We have to try and expand. I don't care if it's EMF readings or trying to pick up EVPs, whatever. We have got to start going into different areas and seeing if any of this adds up. I do agree, like Eric said, we probably have to have a set route that we go about doing it, especially before any of it gets released to the public. But we have to start covering new ground instead of just going in the woods looking for tracks and trying to find stick structure and everything. I mean, if that was going to get us anywhere, it would have in the past 50 years. We got to figure out alternative approaches to this stuff.
Yeah, the pictures, audios, all that's not getting us nowhere. We got to get deep.
I mean, we know that they're there. We need to try and acquire proof in a different way with a different venue than what we had before. And Chris, you're a good one to start that conversation, buddy. But anyway, we'll get you back on part 2.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And it is a topic that needs to be discussed. And like, I agree with Eric, we have to do it the right way. And there's a lot of people out there that want to do this the right way, that are all on board. And I think that the more people that are working together and listen to a ufologist, the triangle thing is just incredible. I mean, the triangle, like just one last thing before I go, and I'll say goodbye because I like to talk and ramble. But when we're in your forest and say you're having an interaction with Sasquatch, and they're never alone, what's the pattern that usually shows up? The triangle pattern. Now it goes the same in the UFO world. The triangles, the big spaceships that the crafts that you're seeing in the sky are triangles. Geometry has a lot to do with it. There's something called, I think it's called BG3. It's an energy, and that I'm reading up on right now. But the ancient Egyptians were using it, and it's really incredible. And I think we could learn a lot going back in that history too. So that's all I got to say. We're doing research. We're gonna keep on doing our way, energy, vibration, and loving one another, like Mark says, because we all need to get along and get some answers. So thanks for having me as always.
Hang on, Chris. I've got a question for you. You were talking about the energy and stuff like that, and the orbs and all that. Well, okay, what if? And this is not what I think, but what if by chance, possibly, the orbs is being supernatural? That if Sasquatch is supernatural, I've heard people say that they've thought that they've manifested from the orbs themselves. You think maybe they could do that instead of portals, or?
That's how maybe they come through the portals as an orb.
As an orb.
As an energy, as a light thing, and then they manifest. And I can't tell you for 100% sure, but I've heard lots of cases where they see Sasquatch faces in these orbs. Yeah. But again, I don't know, because I've never experienced a full blown out orb. I've seen something that looked like a blue phoenix, but it wasn't an orb at all. And now we're working on a thing right now, an experiment we think we can attract the orbs. We've done a lot of research on where to find them, what they are attracted to, where they're seen. And we're going to set up some trail cameras this year, and we're got a couple of experiments we're going to try to see if we can get them on camera. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So thank you for having me, and it was great to meet everybody that I knew Mark, but I didn't know the others, and it was great to meet them tonight too. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys, everybody.
Y'all hang backstage for just 1 minute and let us get out of here.
Okay.
All right. Squirrel, you got anything else?
That was awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. Yeah. All right. Well, tonight we're going to cut to the chase, and everybody that I support, you already know who they are. I do want to throw up, there it is, the email in case anybody wants to message us and let us know anything. And hey, if you know somebody that's looking into boogers and they've been hit by lightning, please email me that and point me in their direction so I can talk to them about that if they're willing to, because that's really interesting part of what came up today. And if you got any ideas on how to figure out looking for these things by a different method than what has been done over and over again in the past 50 years, I want to hear about that too. And also, if you'd like to be part of an upcoming show, if you want to tell your own thing, or if you want to be a part of the roundtable thing, if you think you have something to contribute, please, by all means, contact me. I'd like to have more sources to pull from on this subject, because if we're going to go down the rabbit hole, we might as well go down as far as we can and try to cover all this stuff, right? So
I knew I'd get you there eventually. You were right on the edge, and I finally just pushed you over.
Ain't got me there. I'm open. I've always been open to the whole thing. I just want to hear everybody's thing. That's all. All right, peeps, we are out of here. Just be kind to everybody. And thanks, everyone, for showing up. Very much appreciate it. And we will see y'all next week.
See y'all. Keep an open mind.